Certainly want to thank both the county staff, Mr. McMullen, and also our staff, Mr. Jarrett, for their work in providing this information for us. And as Daniel said, we will go through the joint projects and then the city projects here with my part, and then Madam Chairman Smith will come and do the county part, and then we'll have questions certainly afterwards, and I encourage you to ask any questions that you might have. First of all, I want to look at and introduce to you the joint city countywide projects that we've identified as a need. The public safety equipment, we've identified $5 million for that. That is an initiative that has been brought forth by the local law enforcement agencies to our attention. That includes the city, the county, and also our neighboring law enforcement agencies. There's a need for us to be able to communicate with each other during the time of natural disaster and/or any type of law enforcement emergency that might arise. We find ourselves at times, we have a great technological advances here, but we find at times that even with those that our radios won't communicate with each other, and as you well know, we go in and out of the city and county and even over into other counties with different events, and we find a need where we need to communicate with each other to not only keep us safe, but also to at times to save lives. So this is something that we've identified with this public safety equipment will allow us to communicate better, not only with ourselves, but also our neighboring communities. I'm going to defer to the county staff on the landfill closure, recreation facilities, equipment, and hospital health facilities and equipment. Some of you will remember the recreation facilities, the $1 million that was identified there was actually moved as a specific need at our recreational department. In the last SPLOST, most of you will remember that the SPLOST monies were used in order to create the soccer complex and the walking track that we have. That is an economic development initiative also. It has provided a facility for us to be able to not only provide a place for our citizens to go, but also to host tournaments, and also have a state-of-the-art track and field events and those types of things. In addition to that, and having looked at the advantage of having those type of facilities, we had identified $1 million to improve what we have out at Walter Williams Park and any other of the city or county facilities that we might find a need for. And along with the hospital and health facilities that we have, a progressive community provides those types of things for their citizens, not only for us, but as an economic development tool of recreation, but also if you think about, this is a regional medical facility that we have, our County Regional Medical Center, and being able to provide assistance to them and provide the health care, not only for us, but also for the community around us. Speaking of economic development, the projects that we have looked at with our industrial park, the $2.5 million, I don't think anybody can deny the fact that in this particular economy, we need to pay great attention to our ability to create jobs and attract industries. And in order for us to do that, we have to have a state-of-the-art industrial park. Hopefully, God willing, in the next 6 years, we will be on our way to creating or to completing the Ball Line Freeway. We are certainly very, very interested in that. In talking with our transportation people, this $2.5 million not only could be used for the existing industrial park, but certainly we have identified acreage near the Ball Line Freeway that we make great use of in order to create an industrial park down there and help attract and create the industrial jobs that we desperately need here in Baldwin County. The Oconee River Greenway Authority, $750,000. We actually had to look at a different situation. We had originally thought that we would be able to include an amphitheater in the phase 2 of that. We had to go back and reevaluate that particular project, because it was something we just did not have the funds for, we decided to divert those funds to develop the northern part of the Greenway. Again, a progressive community provides quality of life for their community, and the Oconee Greenway is certainly one of those. If we can ever develop it to the point that it is something like you would see in Columbus or Athens or Augusta, then that certainly would put us as a leader in Middle Georgia. So I think that identifying those needs for that and being able to expand the Greenway in this way would certainly benefit us. The Old Capitol Museum. We have a museum district here. I was born and raised here, and we take these things for granted as far as our quality of life is concerned and the historical significance. We always think about the Old Capitol building or campus at GNC or the old governor's mansion or those types of things. But there are people, when we have numbers and numbers, and I encourage anybody to go down and look at the numbers of visitors that we have that come through the Convention and Visitors Bureau that actually are looking for these types of attractions. And for us to be able to invest in those, I think, will benefit us greatly. The Old Capitol Museum has done a great job. Those of you who have not visited, I encourage you to do so. For a museum its size and to work on the shoestring budget that they have, it's a great attraction. And if we can invest more in it, then it will be more and more so. So I think that's a very good thing for us to identify. For our city projects, public works, streets, roadways, and bridges, the 3.7 some odd that you see there, nobody would disagree that those type things are a wear and tear issue, and it's something that we need to continue to be conscious of. And our staff has identified this particular amount of money in order for us to maintain and improve our roadways and certainly our bridges. One thing that we also take for granted is, I imagine if we go around and look at the bridges that we have on our different streets, we'll find that most of them were built in the 40s, 50s, or 60s. And when we ride over those things, we don't really think about them, but they take more wear and tear than they would on a natural roadway. So we need to be conscious of being able to make those things not only safe, but also to accommodate the traffic, and certainly if our economy improves, the increased traffic that we will have. Our municipal buildings, facilities, and equipment. We have facilities in the city that date back decades, and we have not built anything recently. We have talked about the need for making use of the space that we have. Our staff has grown with the advent of council manager, form of government, and having a city manager. We have created certain departments that are desperately needed for the city. Those departments require space, and as we go through time and time again, we use that space. So we've identified this $1 million to help us to not only make better use of our space, but also to provide a better service for you as citizens in those municipal buildings. Our public safety projects, police and fire, will combine these. These are needs that those particular departments have given to our staff. You can only imagine some of the things that they are in need of. Certainly to be able to be more technologically advanced in our first responders, both the police and fire departments, and of course the equipment that's needed to run those departments. We certainly don't want a situation where we're not able to respond adequately to either a police emergency or certainly a fire emergency. We take great pride in being able to perform both of those duties. I know as someone in the insurance business, we have a 4 rating, protection class rating here in the city and a 6 in the county. That not only saves us money, but also indicates that we're very able to respond to any particular emergency that we have. But we also need to be able to continue to do so. Water distribution, the system. wastewater treatment, and of course, the wastewater collection and treatment system. I don't think there's any other element in our borough that's more important than water. That's potable, drinkable water. We also take great pride in the fact that we have a wastewater collection and treatment system to make use of our natural resource, that's the Oconee River. We take water from that and put it back in a way that it's not detrimental to the environment. This particular water system that we have here is most of you well know, is over 100 years old. And although over the years we have gone to great lengths to try to make sure that it's maintained and it's kept to a particular place where we can use it the way that we do, it's the wear and tear and the development and the growth of the city and all of the other things that we're going to need to make sure that we take care of. I don't think anybody wants to be in a situation where we have a water interruption problem, or certainly have a sewage or wastewater problem here in the city. So we've identified $4.3 million to be used to be able to expand and maintain that particular system. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Madam Chairman, Ms. Smith, to go over the county project for us.